Good morning. Let me know if the mic works. We'll do a quick mic check. Yeah, I didn't have it on yet. So let me know if you can hear the sound now. Mrs. Duck came down and was interrupting me. So I missed my entry in platinum. So I'm already in a few things. Again, as always, if there's too much on a chart, let me know because I don't need it all. I'm in Bitcoin. I just got in platinum, so just pulled the trigger on that. But I'm in gold up here, Bitcoin, and NASDAQ. These are trades from last night. So all I've got are runners on. I only have one runner on, gold. And we have one runner on, or two runners on NASDAQ and Bitcoin. And then I just put two on platinum. So again, we're only looking for a few hundred a day. I'm trying to find some scrap paper that doesn't have anything on it. Just bear with. So, I'm already up 1,000 on the day down there, and that's from runners. So again, that's what runners can get you. And things don't always trend. Don't get me wrong. We know that. We know that runners always don't. Things don't always keep running in one direction or the other, and we don't get a chance to hold like this, overnight or a couple days. So we get what we can out of the runners. Sometimes things will come back and pull back and take you out. And then your runner ends up being $30 or $20 or $4. If you move your stop to just barely better than break even, and something comes back, like, in December where we had some choppy market in gold and oil. I remember times where in oil, you know, a couple times a day where it was just going up and just hitting a 1-to-1 level after I got in. So it hit 1-to-1, close partial or don't, and I didn't, and it went down. And then I said when it went back up and hit 1-to-1, I was going to close out partial then, because obviously it had a problem breaching that price level. And that's what I did. It went back to 1-to-1, and I closed out. And then the trade ended up reversing, and on the runner I got like $4 or $5, something like that, because I had just pulled my stop better to break even. So you're going to get that based on how things move. So, I know we used to always tell the kids, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, and that's pretty much the same as trading. We get what we get. So already up good on the day, over 1K. So I'm just managing several of these trades. So we got some U.S. news coming out here. Now, what I'm watching here on Bitcoin particularly is we had a 1-hour sell. So we had that reverse, but the 4-hour still holding green. So I want to hold that, but I think I want to close out half of it because the 1-hour sell came up. So I'm up 301 on it. I could close out half and be up 150 locked in on that. So that's what I'm going to do on Bitcoin, just because the 1-hour sell came up. So the 1 hour down here, we're getting nothing but, red dots down there. So I am going to close out one of Bitcoin because of that. So we locked in 151 because there's 151 left. I should do it like this, actually. Okay, so I've moved my stop as tight as I want. See, we're starting to get reverses. So we got a reverse on gold up here, but I've got nothing to do. I mean, I have one contract on, so there's really not much I can do. I'll kind of zoom the charts out here and there as we go. We're still in nothing but printing nothing but buys on NASDAQ, but NASDAQ's up 409. So I'm going to close one. I'm going to close part of these out because, right now it's dropping as I'm talking. So around 400. So we got 196 on NQ. So I've locked in 150 on Bitcoin, 196. Now these are part of yesterday's trade, but we're doing it today. I was waiting on platinum to get to 200. It's at 240. So I'm going to close one off. Here, I'd like it to get to 300. And then we can buy back one. And as you sit here and wait, it may not get to 300. I would like it to get to 300. I'll pop one off, but it may not get to 300. It may linger here and then push back up. So that's the bad part about waiting. I'm waiting for it to hit a particular target, however, and price target, and it has other ideas. Now, I was going to get in on platinum up here. I was waiting on a pullback. So it actually up here, you'll see up here on the bounce, I was at the computer but wasn't really watching. So when it breached that low from over here, I was thinking, okay, I'll get in. Well, once it started pushing, I was like, okay, I'll wait for a pullback. So I waited on the pullback, and then Mrs. Duck came down and started talking to me about the kids and whatnot, and I wasn't even watching the screens half the time. So got an alert on the euro. We're not watching the euro today. So anyways, I missed my entry. That's what I was waiting on for entry, so I didn't. So after the sell came up, I got in. Let's see. All right. I am going to turn off the 1 hour notifications on gold up here just so we can see the chart a little better. So we can see what's going on. I'll zoom out here in a little bit. I'm watching platinum so I can close partial. on it. And then we still got 855 on the day that we could lock in. So well over the 500 that we could lock in. So we wait. But again, so Bitcoin's the one, 1 hour reverse it had earlier. And so I had some trend lines that I drew and was saying, okay, if it, it's building that bearish structure, 1 hour signal. So we may get the 4 hour to switch directions. And that won't be till, around the 10 o'clock hour, though. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Am I frozen? I don't know if I'm frozen or not. I'm checking to make sure things are working. Just checking the chat there. Let me know if I'm frozen. I shouldn't be. So we had another sell pop up on gold, several sells. So we're looking to see if this actually give it another push. We'd have our low to break on gold back over here. I haven't drawn all those in yet because I had my magnet shut off. But that would be our low to break over here. And I need to keep remembering to look down at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin kind of stalled there, going sideways for a bit. Not in ES. I did peek out at the 4 indices. I don't know, I've got separate charts set up. I know you can't see my buttons. My buttons are up here on the TradingView platform. So this is my main 6, is what I call this layout. I can click a button up here. They have, if you favorite your layouts, and if you need me to do a little thing on that, you can. They've probably got videos out on YouTube or TradingView. But you can favorite your layout. So this layout is just called MD Main 6. And then I have another layout. You know what? I'm going to close off one of platinum. I just think we're going to get a deeper pullback on this. So I was going to close one because we were almost at 2. So we got about 85 on it. I'd have to go look at the exact amount. Now I'm trading in a different account today. So that's why this is not a demo account, and that's why you won't see the little things pop up. But that's why I have to place 2 different trades. So when you place a trade, unlike paper, there's no way for you to pull a stop. When I place this sell order, you have to place an opposite order. I need to go verify that the rest of them. See, I didn't change my stop on either one of these. Either one. That's not a good thing. Still not awake. Only had about half a cup of coffee, so. Yeah, see, we're getting that deeper pullback on it. So, all right. So, anyways, quick button. So, if you favorite a layout, it pops a button up here, up above where my mouse is right now. And if I click that button right now, you're going to see the 4 indices pop up. I've got one that's just labeled indices. So that's what I normally pop to check and kind of see, what's looking good, what looks like it might be the best to trade out of the indices. Okay. And then you can click over here on the left. If you have your indicators on, there's a button on the left-hand screen about where my mouse is. I know I don't have the platform showing because the platform, the little edge takes up screen. So I tried to maximize the screen in here for you guys. That's why I don't have the buttons and all. But if you click that button, all the indicators come off. And then you can kind of look. So you want to zoom back and look and see what might look the best to trade. Is any one of them giving you, better swings, better, clearer swings that you might want to get involved in? What do you think you might want to trade? So I stuck with S&P and NASDAQ today on the two. Here we'll go back. But it's just that easy, just quick in layouts. So it doesn't take long for me to go out and, look at that. So 15-minute on oil has popped. We popped below a trend line. So you notice I have two there, marking low and high. I'll keep marking up trend lines as long as the 4 hour is still green. So as long as that 4 hour is still green, 4 hour and 1 hour still green, I'm going to mark up trend lines. I'm going to move up trend lines. But because earlier it broke this one, had an uptrend line here, it broke it, went sideways, pulled down a little bit, but then another buy printed. So again, I'm looking for buy opportunities right now on oil and only buy. Platinum, I was looking for a sell opportunity, so trying to keep the odds in our favor of the higher time frames. I'm trying to see what you guys are watching so I don't get too much on there. All right, so Bitcoin, I got in last night on Bitcoin again. So that's what I got in on. Only the 1 hour had switched over back and forth in here. You'll see 1 hour signals. Okay, but ultimately it had pulled down, made a low, and came back up right here to test this previous high, and then pulled back down to test this previous low and stopped. The support level around this price right here held up. So that's what we're looking at, is and especially consolidated moves. If you look, we had to push down, and then what did it do? It pulled back and up and back and up and back and up. So it stayed in this area from this high to this low. So once it pushed up here after making this low, it popped up and hit that high and stalled out, and came back down and hit around this low and stalled out and went sideways for a while. So wasn't really looking at anything until the 1 hour started printing. So in here, the 1 hour started printing. I don't even remember where I was. It was late last night, and then we had a sell here, and then another 1 hour. So when that second 1 hour, I'm always looking at highs and lows, and you can draw a trend line. I drew a retracement line or trend line down across that high to that high. You can also use the channel tool if you like using the channel tool. Same thing, you're marking the high and low, or you're marking two highs, and then you just extend the tool down to one of the lows, and you're using that. So it's really up to you what you want to use. Some people prefer the channel tool. I use it on and off. I used to use a lot, but ultimately I was waiting on that, as we had 1 hour green down here. I was really waiting, is it going to break that? Are we truly going to see a trend reversal here? So we're still not just jumping in, because that's only a 1 hour signal. Plus it had a sell here. So I didn't take the sell. I didn't feel confident in it because this held up over here. This low held up over here. So I knew we had made higher lows in here. So as it's making higher lows and finally made a higher high, that's bullish structure. Higher lows and higher highs. So I wasn't confident in taking that short, so I didn't. After the 1 hour came, I didn't take it long, because the 4 hour is still red. So what I waited on was I waited for it to break that line, break and test that line and get in. So I got in twice. I got in on that. I think it was up 600 something. I don't know. The images are out on, I almost said Facebook. They're out in the Discord. So my target, short target, was what? Was this high. It's always a high-low break. Always. That should be your first target. That should not be your ultimate target, but that should be your first target, because it may not go above that previous high. So when I got in, that was my target. because after all this, after it came and turned, that's as high as it got. So that was the highest high. I'm not looking way up here for targets. I'm looking at the highest high after it turned. So after it came down and turned here, this was the highest high. So it goes up here, closed partial, you know. And then I ended up, it come down, and I took another buy in here when this other come up. So because I already had profits to take another trade. We already had profits locked in where I could take another trade and take a chance of it breaking. So far it's broken and it's ran, and we're getting that changeover. So as far as profit targets, of course, you'd use the profit target tool. I'm going to take some of this off. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to take this old uptrend line and that one, and we're going to hold that as a valid one. I'm not looking, remember I talked about that yesterday, don't be aggressive moving your trend lines. I'm not moving this one over here right now, okay, because it's too soon. We had a buy signal or a sell signal come up, okay? So I don't want to take, if I take this, and I covered that yesterday, if I take this and move it out here, then if it breaks that, you know, if it breaks this line and pushes down and then goes up a little bit, and I move it again and keep moving it down, I'm going to miss my entry short. You'll literally miss your entry short. So we keep it here, over here. Get it on the candle. So we'll keep it there until we see a buy signal. If I were to get a buy signal over here right now, then at that point, I would take the trend line and move it to capture this low, okay? So right now we don't. I did something else. You guys will tell me if you like it or not. So usually I'll come in, you know, with our lines, and we'll mark, you know, like a high to break here. We'll mark a low to break in here. I'm kind of playing with this. I don't know if I like it or not. Where I'm taking the rectangle tool and just coming in and marking a high-low like that, and then marking that my high-low to break. So it's more of a, shows you more of a consolidated box. I don't know if I like that or not, so you guys let me know. And it might be too much here on the stream. It might get messy with all that stuff on here. I always send my boxes to the back. So anyways, we're waiting on that. So see how it's, I don't know, guys. You guys let me know. You might like the lines better. As I look at that right now on the what you guys are watching, I think I like the lines better. But that's why you'll see some of these say high-low break. This was an old high-low break from last night that I used. Oil, I mean, we could have, it just had a buy. I really want to see the high to be broken and tested, because right now it's testing this high over here. I really want to see it break and test that. So if you're going to get in it now off just the signal, I'd consider it to be a little riskier, and I'd come back and mark this low here instead of that one, only because it hit several times. If I go back to the left of the screen on oil, I see that, you know, I could come back and mark that low here, and that's where we hit here. So that would be the one I'd want to mark instead of this. So if you take a long now off a signal, you just have to know it's a little riskier because it might not break that top, that previous high. We definitely got, all right, we had some lines come up. We had a lot, that's from the bar on oil. There's our break. So there's your break and pop. I don't know how much profit that would be if you got in on the, but the signal just came and it just popped. So if it pulls back, and it may keep climbing. We had news come out this morning, so we're getting a huge push off that. For me, I'm glad you asked, but we got on that one too late, or I did. I won't jump in it now. And then since it's such a quick move, What I'd wait on is wait on a pullback to test this area. It may never happen. It may just keep going. So I'd be waiting on more of a pullback in here, and then that, you know, swing bounce to get in long. So we're starting to get things across the board kind of want to change direction. So I'm glad I closed out the partials we did. We closed out one of platinum. Did I mark that? Nope. I'll have to go back later and look at platinum. Unless somebody can remember what I closed out, I don't remember. It wasn't at 3. I think it was around 2. So I think it was like $96. I said I'll mark that, but I'll have to go back and check. So yeah, on oil, I'd be waiting on it to pull back. And then with a quick move like that, I'd consider dropping it to a 1 minute chart. So if you're looking for an entry on oil, I'd drop that to a 1 minute, and then we're watching for it to, pull back, but it might just be a stop and go. So if you get in right now, there's a little bit of extra risk just because morning MC, just because it had that big push up. So if you got in now, if you're saying, hey, it's bouncing off the back of that other line, I'm thinking about getting in because we had a big push, I'd get in with less contracts because of that, because we just don't, it might pull back. So I'd look for a pullback entry is what I do. You can always put a pending order above, and I've mentioned that before. I just call them a backup order. So ES has pulled down. NASDAQ has pulled down. We got that sell signal. I should have probably just closed NASDAQ off because it's probably going to take me out. We'll see. So I'm sticking with the 4 hour today on these because I was already in these from last night, except for platinum. Platinum's the new trade. So since I was already in these from last night, I'm holding with the 4 hour. Which means that you'll give back a lot on the pullback. And if you'd rather see oil set up the way platinum is, let me know and I'll change it. If you'd rather see the candle on platinum. You did get in 3 before it broke. Awesome. Oh, you did get in with 3, right? Are you up? Because it may just keep pushing. We may not get that pullback. But Alex, if you want me, and if anyone else is watching oil, if you guys want me to change any of these charts over to the way I got platinum set up, where the 3 parts of the indicator are on the bottom of the screen and the candles are normal candle colors, let me know. I've got no preference. So not, S&P I'm waiting. So I may be waiting for 10 o'clock for a trade. You closed 2. Cool. Got him with 3, closed 2. And I haven't calculated how much I'm up on the runners. Like gold up here, I have my stop down here above the highs. So I moved it this morning. So it's just hanging out. Nothing but sideways movement on gold. Oop. Popped the wrong chart. So there, there's the gold trade. Got him way up here on the sell signal. Now that was last night, and it came down, closed partial. It kind of hung out sideways and then broke that and then came down. It was sitting in here for a little bit, couple candles, in this area. And so what I did was mark that high-low break. I was using the box last night instead, seeing if I liked it. And, lo and behold, it broke it, came back to test it, and went clear back up to the top of that consolidated area, and then give another push down. Now, I'm not watching the chart at this point. I'm in bed. So it pulled down here. I didn't get to close. Actually, I was down to 1, I believe. I'd have to look. And then, it's pulled back. So we didn't quite get back to this low, but that's actually the low to break right now, is way down here for it to continue for me to go any further. So my stop is out of the way. I got about a little over half of the profit on it. So right now it's up 233, and the price is right here. So if it pulls back and stops me out, you can see where my stop is. My stop's a little better than halfway. So I'll lock in about 130 of it if it goes back and stops me out. So hopefully before that happens, it would give a 4-hour reverse signal on it. Yeah, ES and NQ both, I'm looking for them to pull back and get a sell signal, which is not going to happen until the 4-hour changes. So the only way on the indicator we'll get a sell signal is if the 4-hour changes as well. So because other than that, the 4-hour time frame's still in a bullish move. We're just getting a good pullback on both ES and NQ. Now, you can take the 1-hour reversals if you want. They're just riskier because you're trading against the 4-hour time frame. So taking a 1-hour reversal you look, and here's the thing you got to be cautious of. You look at NQ, you look at ES, and say, wow, if I would have just taken the 1-hour reversals on NQ and ES, I would have been okay. I'd be up right now. Positive trades on those, okay? However, let's go to gold. There was 3 1-hour reversals that came up on gold. And this one came up, and then they just kept printing green here. It kept going up. So, yes, that would have been a positive trade. But then you got another sell, 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 and then you get 1-hour reversal. If you took this 1-hour reversal, would you not have taken this 1-hour reversal? So that's what you got to kind of decide if you're going to try taking 1-hour reversals or not. If you got a 1-hour reversal and you got a lot of room, it may just drop and go. So you got to be cautious with the 1-hour reversals because you could take some and they just don't go, So these all, there's 3 1-hour reversals there. So if you said to yourself, well, I think I want to trade all the 1-hour reversals. I know it's riskier. So what do we do if it's riskier? We put on less contracts. Okay. So if you're using like 3 on oil, you use 3 on oil. So if you're using 3 normally, I wouldn't go 3 on a 1-hour reversal. If that's your usual go-to on your contract size, I would go, like 1. I don't even know if I'd go 2 on a 1-hour reversal. You can always stack in. So you can always stack into the trade. You can always go in 1. The only problem is you can't pull partial. There's no partial to pull. But you can always stack into a trade if the 1-hour reversal turns out to be a trend reversal. And we never know if it's going to end up being that way. So the 1-hour reversals mainly come up, tell you, hey, this is going against the 4-hour. Anytime you see a 1-hour pop up, it's like, hey, we might be turning. I'm going against the 4-hour right now. So look for a possible change in direction. And that's when you want to start looking at structure with your highs, lows. And if I get a 1-hour reversal that's orange short, I'm looking for lower lows, lower highs to get in on. 1-hour reversal long, we're looking for higher highs, higher lows. And you get like this 1-hour reversal here, and it went up. So it made a higher high than this last one. However, when it came back down, to test this low here, what did it do? It went through it. So the low didn't hold up. So structure didn't build for the high side, for the bullish side. There's our pullback on oil. So oil, let's see. One thing I want to do before I keep yapping here is move down my stop on platinum. Going to get kind of aggressive with it. I'm going to move it above this little consolidated area in here. I can clear some of the old lines off here. I'm going to pop, I'm going to keep this one where I think it was up there, but I'm going to pull this line here. Because of this swing low here and this sideways movement there, that's going to be, I want my stop above that area. Make sure all my charts are set to auto set, and they're not. So I'm going to keep gold. I'm not going to keep it out here so you can where my trade is. So we're up 246 on it. So we're still up 730 on all. I'm going to kind of zoom it in here so we can see the mean moves, and I'm going to shut back off the 1 hour reversal. So I'm not really concerned with the 1 hour reversal on gold because I can see the middle, that upper bar down here. Lower bar is 4 hour, the upper bar is the 1 hour, and the candles are changing color based on the 15-minute. So we did get that pullback on oil. But so I'd be looking for a bounce in here. So we got the 1 hour, sorry, wrong chart. Keep forgetting to click on my charts. So overall, I'm still, we're still 1 hour and 4 hour bullish. Since we made the higher high, I talked about that earlier. Since oil did obviously push up and make a higher high, we would want to take our uptrend line and move it here. So until I get a sell signal or reverse signal, I don't move I keep my trend line moving, but I need a higher high to push it up. So we might get a bounce in here. I'd look for an entry to go long. The other thing is I would draw a counter trend line. And I know we're on a 1 minute here, but I would draw a retracement line across these tops. And I still got the magnet on. So that right there is going to be, because we might be breaking it. It's getting close. We got a retracement line down. So that's a retracement line down. So ultimately, I'd want to see that retracement line break. So it might bounce in here for a little bit. Not sure. And I'll get off this chart real quick. But it may bounce in here. So it may have a further push short. We might see something like that. What I want to see before I'm going to enter, I want a little safer signal. I'd rather see it come through here and come back to test the backside of this retracement line and this low right here, the inside bottom of that turn. I'd love to see that right there, and then a green candle, and I'm going to get in, and then we would hope for a that push up past this high. But if it comes up to the inside bottom of this swing, that's where I'd be prepared to close some profit. And I'll keep checking the chat. If they're, no, you can use, I use it on 4X. This actually, the way this was built, I did it back in 2006 and 7, one of those years, on 4X. There's an image out. I've got one of my old office or home office pictures out there in Discord, and you'll see I've got 8 monitors at my desk, and the 4 monitors in front of me I would trade on, and then the other monitor was watching 6. So I had quad view on the main monitor, trading 4x pairs, or looking for entries on 4x pairs. And then I had the other 4 monitors had 6 charts on them. And then I always had my laptop open as backup. If my computer crashed, my laptop was logged in. If both crashed, if I lost power to the house, my cell phone was logged in. Like I would get in and log into my broker every morning on my cell phone. I had one of those HTC flip open phones with the keyboard. It's high tech back then. Real small screen. Now I wasn't watching multiple instruments. The backup then, so I had you want backup. You want backup for everything. People don't do that nowadays. They panic. Something happens to the system and they're on Facebook or a group or something trying to ask for information. You should take control of your business. I mean, this is my business, so you better believe I've got backup plans. You can, if you're looking to get into ES or NASDAQ, you can take either one of them. If you're looking to take them short, because we've had a pullback. So we had a 1 hour reversal. We had them pull back. So they may bounce here and go short again. Just keep in mind it's a little riskier. What I would do also is come to NASDAQ and ES and draw a line across the tops. And look for a bounce off one of those to go short. It's going to be a little riskier trade, so just go in with lighter contract. So anyways, yeah, I had my computer was up. I had a battery backup system that was 4 hours, that if the computer crashed, my computer, or if the electric went out in the house, my computer would still run for 4 hours. Because if your computer crashes, your cable's still working. As long as, the whole town didn't lose power. If it was just my house that lost power, and that happened a lot in Florida. So with power outages, I had a 4 hour battery backup. So if the electricity in the house went down, I had a battery backup system. And it would run the one monitor with the 4 charts and run my computer. And then I had my laptop plugged in. So if that happened where I lost juice to the house, I would keep them both logged in. And when the battery backup system died 4 hours later, my laptop's still running because it was plugged in. But when the power goes out, the battery backup goes out, my laptop's still running because it's on battery. And we're still plugged into cable. So I had longer, and it never went to that. I had several times power went out while I was trading, but I still traded. And then ultimately my phone was logged into the broker. So for some reason, my computer just crashed. My laptop battery went dead. I was logged into my broker on my phone. So that was my third, my third backup. The battery backup system was 1. The laptop was 2. Laptop on battery 3, actually. And then the phone. Ultimately, if my phone died too, you're asking for a lot of chaos to happen. But if my phone died as well, or not my phone, if I needed to close out a trade, if my laptop went dead, I could do it on my phone, or I could call my broker. You put your broker on speed dial. Not when you're trading with prop firm money. But when you're trading real money, you have your broker in your phone. So that's when this was set up. I was looking for a way to watch. I was trained to look out at the daily, 4 hour, and 1 hour for my analysis, and then for a higher time frame. And then I was getting in on a 15-minute time frame. And then I went down to a 5-minute. And then learned that I needed to close partial because I was tired of I was on the 15-minute and I'd see it go up 200 or 300 only to pull back down. And there we printed a buy. So that's why I said it's kind of risky getting in on the 1 hour reversals. So even though we had the 1 hour reversals on them, so we might be getting a buy here on NASDAQ. And, I drew that line across the tails, across the tops here. Love to see that. I'd love to see this candle close past that. So we're not jumping in yet because we still got, about 16 minutes. And it could still pull back. So we could get a buy. It's either going to pop and go, or it could actually pull back down a little bit. So I can either get in right now, in case it pops and runs, and we did get a signal, or we can wait for it to pull back, because it may pull back some. It's hitting the back side of that trend line. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't like that it's hitting the back side of my trend line. Sometimes you can get too many lines on there, and it could end up influencing your decision, like right now with me, not to get in. A little bit of hesitation there. And oil gave us that nice pullback and signal. I wasn't watching for that buy. Now I'm on a 1 minute time frame watching oil. However, the signals are still only coming up on the 15 minute and the 1 hour and 4 hour when they're all in line. So we only had the 15 minute time frame go red for like one little candle. If that wouldn't have went red, if that candle wouldn't have red on oil, then that buy would not have come up. There's our little pullback. So if I want to get in at a little better price, I could wait. So here's something that I do sometimes. Yeah, I had the futures Forex. If it's on TradingView, a chart, it'll be futures, the futures for the Forex market or the currency pairs. And that's what you were seeing if you're in the Discord. And then, but I still trade through MetaTrader 4 on my, hang on, I gotta close part of this out. All right. Sorry, I have a trade on that I got into on the Aussie this morning. And it's up that monthly goal. So you realistically, I look for, now I get way more. I need 500 a day. That's what I absolutely, the minimum I have to have. Well, some days, get way more than that. Some days we don't. So that's 10,000 a month. So the Aussie trade is up there. Remember, and I only have 30 contracts on. So I need to close out. I'll post the images of this out in Discord. So if you see, if I'm trading the actual live spot Forex market, it is through MetaTrader 4. And I have 30 on, so I'm closing out 20. Locking in 2/3 of the trade. So that one's up, it was up 10K. So I've got another 10 contracts sitting, or 10 lots at 3,400. And my stop's where I want it. So, you're looking at Bitcoin, you're looking at gold. Gold's nothing but sideways this morning. Bitcoin more sideways than anything. Just riding it out, waiting. Not really doing anything. Platinum, I may have my stop too tight on platinum. What I should have probably done was pulled it more here to just break even, but I'd like to lock some of this in. I already closed one out, and I would like to lock in some. So that means I'm trying to move my stop a little more aggressively. So I would actually look for an opportunity in here in platinum if you're not in it. I don't know what MC thinks, but I'd be kind of looking for that and looking for a break of that and a break of the low here that it has. So a break of that, retracement line you could take as a trade. Oil got to right to that, almost to the high. So anytime something fails to get to its high, it's failing to make a higher high. So if it fails to get to this high, it's making what? A lower low, which is not good for our bullish trend. And then that's where we start seeing things consolidate and come into kind of like a. I love trading the Australian dollar. I don't know. So when I learned forex, it was on the euro. It was only euro. That's all I traded was euro, because of course it is not as volatile as the pound. So if you're picking one or two, and I was learning, I just started, so I was taught to let's do the euro because it's a little less volatile, and you're just learning how to trade. So that volatility will spook you, make you take bad trades. You'll get into revenge trades. So I got into the euro. Eventually, I did the euro and the pound. Well, then, I started looking at the Canadian dollar and trading that and the Swissy. And so then, and I was trading around the clock. So for me back then, I'd get up at 8 in the morning. I was at the computer at 8:15, and I would trade from 8:15. Hang on, I got to look and see what we got here. So NQ, those don't pop up on your. We're getting that buy again. So see, that's the second buy. So we've got another buy. It's hesitating to break these lines. It's hesitating to break that price level. So I'm still waiting. I'd like to see it break through either both those or at least this downward red line. So I'm glad I didn't take the signal, the 1 hour. Again, you just get in with less contracts if you're taking the 1 hour. So anyways, I traded from 8:15 to 11 to 11:30. I jump in the shower, get ready, go pick up my wife, and we would go to lunch. She worked for a doctor's office. So I would go pick her up. We'd go to lunch. We'd go out to eat. And this is every day. This is what I did every day. So I pick her up. Red Lobster a lot because that was one of her favorites. So we'd get, and I lived in Naples, Florida at the time. So we'd go to lunch. I'd get back from lunch. I'd take a nap. I'd drop her off, go home. I'd take a nap. I'd take a nap till around 5 o'clock. She'd get home a little after 5. Then we could do whatever we wanted. We could go out to eat. We'd eat at the house. We'd watch a movie, whatever. So we'd hang out. At 7 o'clock, I had a girl in Hawaii that was in our group. So I had like a trade room where we all kind of traded together. And I did the same thing that I'm doing now. So we had a trade room. In there, we'd get in at 7 to 9. At 7 to 9, I did more of a training. So that was during the Asian session. Not a lot of movement. So 7 to 9 p.m. training session. 9 p.m. I'd get off and, go watch a movie with Mrs. Duck. Then we'd head to bed. I'd get to sleep, and I would get up at 2:30 in the morning. 2:30 in the morning, I'd get up to trade the London session. I'd trade from 2:30 in the morning to 5. 5 a.m. I'd stop. So I got 4 3-hour spurts is what it was of sleep, at least at 3 hours. When I napped in the afternoon, it was like 1 to 4 or 5. So, we got stopped out on. No, we're not stopped out yet. I'm looking at Bitcoin. I don't like that it's holding. That 1 hour's holding, and we're still, it's still pushing. So I might get stopped out on that. So I'd go to sleep at 5. That was when I'd get off the computer, and it's gonna push and pop us out. And then I'd go back to sleep and get up at 8:15, do it again. All right, so I got popped out of platinum. I have to go look later. I wasn't watching and see where we were at, what we were up when I got popped out. So ultimately, overall, though, I'd still be looking, the 15 minutes green on platinum. So we're getting that pullback. I'm going to look for a bounce on there to possibly short again. The reason for the short is the 1 hour and 4 hours still red. But yeah, so I was getting 4 3-hour spurts of sleep. So what I was doing, back to the Forex pairs, again, the U.S. session, it was more euro or pound at that point when I was doing all 3 sessions, because I didn't start off that way. I started off just doing the U.S. session. And then when I traded the London session, it was the British pound. It was the Swissy. the Swiss franc. So I started trading that as well. So it was more the pound and the Swissy in the evening, London session, U.S. session. It was either euro or pound, Canadian dollar, because the Canadian market opens when our New York market opens. And fell in love with the Canadian dollar. And then in the Asian session, if I was trading while we were in the room, it was normally the Japanese yen. And then I started looking at the Aussie and the Kiwi. I don't really trade the Aussie and the Kiwi during their market, the Sydney session start, which starts in our late afternoon. I just traded them during the Asian session because of the overlap. But so yeah, I used to trade like the Aussie or the Kiwi. I'd pick one. Pretty much now it is just the Australian dollar. Canadian dollar I still get into. I don't do it in here. Not interested in Canadian dollar on the futures market. I'm trading it spot only. So the Aussie I'll trade on both, spot and futures. But there was a year, I can't remember. I cannot remember if it was 2006 or 7 or 8 possibly. The Canadian dollar, and you'll love this if you trade Forex because you'll understand the pip move. The Canadian dollar was in a 300 pip channel. 300 both ways. And I noticed it about 3 weeks in to the move. So there was 3 weeks that went by on the Canadian dollar, and I'm looking at the higher time frame, and I'm going, wait a minute, we're in a huge channel, 300 pips. So when it got to the top of the channel, what do you think I did? I sold. And when it got to the bottom of the channel, I closed that, and I bought. 2.5 months we were able to ride that. So for 2.5 months, the Canadian dollar was my primary trading instrument, and it was in a 300 pip channel. And sometimes it happened all week. So sometimes it was from Monday to Wednesday. Monday to Wednesday, it would move down the 300. And Wednesday morning, I'd get up and it would be at the bottom of the channel, and I'd buy. And by Friday, it would be all the way up. So there were a couple weeks where it was like that, where it moved all the way the 300 points halfway through the week and then all the way back. There were other weeks where it was like the whole week. It took the whole week to move 300 points, and we were just trailing our stop. So we're holding trades. And I remember several times, like I remember one night in particular, it was at the top of the channel, so I got in at night. Took the trade at night before I went to bed. And I didn't trade the London session for some reason this night. I got up in the morning, and it had moved down. I had a trailing stop. I always trailed a stop back then, especially while I was sleeping. So I'd get something locked in. And I was glad I did, because I put the trade on, and it was at the top of the channel, my stop on the outside of the channel, and it went down. When I got up, it had went down and then pulled back to the top of the channel. So I was out of the trade, but in profit because of the trailing stop. Well, it was back at the channel top. What do you think I did when I got up that morning and saw that? I just sold it again. And then that second time, it went all the way down again. So there were a couple times like that. There was 2 of them where I did that, went to sleep, and they moved down, but then they just pulled back. And so I just got back in. But it was 2.5 months I was able to ride that 300 pip channel. And I haven't seen anything as good as that since. That's what I'm, always looking for that. That's why we're always looking at the 4-hour chart, at least, at a minimum, as our higher time frame. Yeah, that was a great 2.5 months. But had I not been trading the Canadian dollar, I wouldn't have even, been able to take that. So, yeah, I had a lot of confidence back then just to take that back and forth. Oh, oil's back at that high. So this buy signal played out. So it did, you know, you could have bought in there. It did push. It's right now it's at that previous high. So we're waiting to see if it breaks that. I'm not in it. In fact, the only thing I'm in right now is Bitcoin. Oh no, I'm still in gold up here. About to be taken out. So nothing exciting today. I think the oil pop was the most exciting thing we had. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, and I'd say it is a little harder to trade because the market's different. It moves different now. Yep, that's for sure. Oh, I can't do that in there. Let me go pop this in there and close this. All right, so we have about 5 minutes before the U.S. stock market opens. Just bear with me. I'm doing my screenshots. But yeah, I don't trade the Australian dollar like round the clock, but it's been really good to me. So I've gained a lot of faith in it, and I trade it more often than I trade. Right now, I've been trading it more often than I have the Canadian dollar. So I do like it. I try and get in something at night, and then kind of let it roll through the day. What am I looking for? I'm going to post this. Here's a link I'm putting in the chat. You should be able to click on it. I can pin that to the top, I guess. Pin it. So I pinned the message to the top in the chat there. Guys, I don't know if we lost the... there it is. So there's a link to the images of the Forex trade. So I just posted that out in the Discord. First one, as always, is a chart picture where my stop is, where my entry was. And then you'll see the second images of where the trade was before I closed out. So it hit that 10K mark. I didn't put 40 contracts on this one. I only put 30. So still waiting on it to hit that 10K mark. And then closing out partial. So the third image is where I've closed out partial. That is on the Discord, so. So there's 7K locked in on it. This is a larger account. That's with my Forex broker. I've had that account since 2004. If I was still sitting here today, if I had that account from 2004 today and it wasn't doing that well, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. All right, let me get back to what we got going on. Yeah, so overall on these, we're still waiting. Yeah, it's and Alex, it's we use a mix. I learned chart techniques. So I learned how to analyze the charts, and I paid a guy a lot of money back then in 2004. I had a back injury. I won't go through my whole story, but was in construction, had a major back injury, and well, not major for me, and I couldn't move. I could only stand or sit for 5 minutes, so I was pretty much couch bound. So I had to find something else to make money. So, and thus I came into Forex through a guy over in Boca Raton that had a hedge fund. This was a guy that people were trading his money. So kind of like the prop firms want to be. The reason why I say that is the prop firms have a lot of people that don't know how to trade that get in and hope to get lucky. And they weed through that. I mean, the people blow their own accounts out. And then when they weed themselves out, let's put it that way. So the bad traders weed themselves out, and they make all those rules for a reason, like the trailing threshold and all that. They want top traders. And once you, like with Apex, you'll take, and with any of them, you'll take their evaluation account, you pass it, then you'll get the next level up. It is not a live account. A lot of people think when you get a PA account on Apex, it's live money. Oh, Apex put in $50,000 for me to trade. No, they didn't. It's still a demo account. But it's a PA account. You get paid on it. However, once you do well in the PA account, because their system watches this, it'll flag you. Consistent levels of profit, consistent trading. Their system will flag you. And then you'll get contacted by one of their managers. And at that point, that's when they'll fund you real money. At that point, they're looking at tagging you with a live money account to trade. So there's 2 phases before you get to live money. And that's with all of them. They all do that. Not one of them has a evaluation account, Top Step, any of them. But none of them take you from that evaluation account straight to money. So I'd hold, if you're in oil still, anyone, I would hold that because we're still all green across the board. Green candles. And then the 2 bottom bars are green, the 1 hour and 4 hour. I'm looking to get back in platinum. I didn't take it on the bounce here. I'm actually waiting for it to, waiting to see if it'll break this retracement line up. And, give a test of that. So I'm going to get ready to pop on 2. I don't know if we'll get that set up to come. It's only 9:30, so. Kind of a messy day today overall. So I don't know what I locked in. 151 on Bitcoin, 196 on NASDAQ, and 96 on Platinum. So as far as what I've locked in this morning, 2, 3, about 420, 430 is what's locked in so far. And again, just looking for that 500 a day, 500 a day every day, 20 days a month. And I don't have it marked out what I'll make on the runners. But I was about stopped out on Bitcoin, so we'll hold them. just in case they keep running. Still up 260 on gold. Gold has done nothing but sideways. No, I have not. MC. Should I have? I didn't. I have not looked at it today. Oh, no. My platinum trade's up. I'm wanting to hit that 2-week mark. Tomorrow at 9:06 in the morning, I hit 2 weeks on that platinum trade. I'm still in it. It's up 6,700 right now on this last drop. I've held because I haven't got, because I'm watching that on the 15-minute time frame now. So still in it. I know it gave a no, on platinum, no, it's at 6,700 right now on my platinum. So, and then I locked in 1,830. And for anyone that doesn't know, that was, morning, John. For anyone that doesn't know, I got into platinum at 9:06 on February 14th. You tend to remember these days, especially since the thing's been running. So at 9:06, February, there we got a sell on platinum I'm selling to. So at 9:06 on February 14th, got in platinum with 5 contracts, and then closed out 3 when it dropped so I can get my daily goal, So I got 1,830 from closing the 3. That was my daily bread, my daily goal, my daily paycheck, whatever you want to call it. That's what I have to do to make a living. And then had the 2 contracts, and I've let it ride. So on platinum, it just kept going down and down and down. So February 14th, 5 contracts on, 3 closed off, locked in 1,830 for the day. So that was a great day. And then just managed my stop since. So this Friday will be 2 weeks. So tomorrow at 9:06 will be the 2-week mark. It's been fluctuating this past week between like 4,000, 5,000, up to 6, back down to 4. I mean, it's just been fluctuating back and forth. So I hadn't even looked at it this morning until MC said something. Now, I see platinum over here. I'm trading platinum, today, the bottom left chart. So I've already gotten a trade, got out of a trade, and already made profit on it. And I know what platinum's doing, but I'm so focused on here and what we're doing, I didn't even look out at platinum. Just not interested in looking at it. I'll look at it here and there. Sometimes I check in the morning, sometimes I don't. I look at it in the evening, kind of see what it's done for the day overall to my trade, the big trade. So right now, those 2 runners are up 67.90, so almost 6,800, and I locked in 1,800. So that's 9,600. If I closed out platinum right now, it's almost hit the 10K mark, about 9,600 somewhere in there. Someone else can do the math. 1,830, and we're at 68.10 right now. So 7, 8. Oh, I guess it would only be 8,600. My math's way off, sorry. I just lost $1,000 in my thought process. So about 8,600. So not quite the 10K mark. But all I can do is move my stop, and I've just moved my stop out. Now on the indicator, I've changed the settings on platinum on my other account over there, the other screen that's logged into my larger account, and I've changed these right here. So on the indicator, we're watching the lower 3 bars are 15-minute, 60-minute, and 4-hour. I've changed it to the 60-minute is my first time frame. The middle bar is 240 for the 4 hour, and then you put 1440. 1440 would be the daily. So I'm not even interested in looking at it down here as far as that trade. So it's on the higher time frame. And I'm even ignoring, I know we had some buys in there, but on that last move up, and I just held through it. I'd love to see my runners get to 10K MC is kind of what I'm, of course we'd all like that, but. So see how we had another sell on gold? And any one of these you could take, it's not going anywhere. We're just in that sideways channel. You can scalp that if you want, back and forth. And I've mentioned that before. You can go down to 1 minute and scalp. You know, you can mark a high, mark a low, and go into the 1 minute and scalp. I would stay with stronger position. You know, if you're going to put on, say, 3 contracts as your max, you know, you would wait for it to get to the top of the channel here, the sideways channel, wait for it to get to the top, go in with your 3, it pops down, you're closing 2. You're closing 2 quickly. And you can let one run in case it pops and runs. And then, it's either that, and then when it gets to the top, you short again. Close out 2. It gets to the top, you short again. So you had several opportunities to get in here and short. These would have went in the negative for a bit, you know, because it's never even gotten down to this low here. So you could scalp that. It's just really small profits, and you're going to get knocked around. And then, or you can trade it back and forth. You can short it, close out, and then go long. Just know that your long positions is against the 4 hour down here and the 1 hour right now, but it's against the 4 hour. So if you're going to do that, just go in with lighter contracts. See, I'm not interested in NASDAQ and ES right now. We just got a huge drop back. You can call it a liquidity sweep, whatever you want to call it. It happens a lot. NASDAQ, I call it the Widowmaker. So let's look at platinum. Platinum, I was up 300. So I'm going to close out 1. Okay. I'm up 280 there. And so we just locked in another 140 on Bitcoin. And then we have to change our stop. So with this broker here, I have to put on an opposite order, trading through TradingView. So I put on an order to go short. I have to, it's different from paper. Paper, you can, you know, like hover your mouse over here, and I got to get off that reverse button. If I accidentally click that, it'll be devastating. I don't want to accidentally click reverse. But you'll notice there's no stop and take profit buttons that come up. That's because the way this broker has their system set up with TradingView. It's all up to the broker. So when you get into a charting software, they do what the broker wants them to do. They set it up how the broker wants it set up. And for some reason, this broker doesn't, you can't do that. And I don't know if that's across the board on a lot of them or not. So I moved my stop down some to minimize my open risk on this one. And we'll change that to 1 contract. We'll go ahead and I don't want to move it too aggressive, so I think I'll leave it there. It's in the inside bottom. That's why I closed. This is actually the inside bottom of the move. If you haven't heard about inside bottoms and inside tops, there's stuff out on the internet. I've never done a video on those because there's stuff on the internet. There's stuff on YouTube. Got a 1 hour reverse on NASDAQ, and it's already cranking. And it's pulling the 4 hour with it. So it's starting to change over. I'd like to see a pullback before I get in. If I want to get into a little riskier trade, so we'll drop to a 1 minute. If I see a pullback on that, because I am ready to put on 3. Now, we'll see while this candle's forming, we might see that sell signal come back up again. It come up briefly when it was down there, so the candle has to close. Yeah, we did get the sell. I'm going to go ahead and sell. I know it might pull back on me. So I'm going to come in here and put a tight stop. So we're up 82. I'm going to get ready to close. I'm not looking for a ton on these because I'm already good on the day. And then we might get a sell triggered here on ES. That's my low to break right there that we'd be watching. So we were up some on NASDAQ. And I actually have a high to break line there, but that was from earlier. Oh, what did I say we locked in on platinum? Anybody remember what I said I locked in on platinum when I closed out? If you do, type it in there because I forget. I meant to write it down and forgot to. And then we have our low to break. So we have two basic price levels on these swings. We have the low of the swing, and then we have the inside of that swing, which in this case, since it's a swing, a low, then we have the inside bottom. If it's up here, if it's a top, if it's a swing up and down, then you would have the inside of that top. Those are valid levels. They don't always turn at them, but see how it stopped? I mean, it came down and stopped right at that price level. Kind of hung out just for a couple candles and then pushed through. So we can move our stop to break even on platinum. And that only means that this trade is up 72.50. So my trade from February 14th is up 7,210, 20. You know how it is. It's fluctuating. So it's up over 7K. And then with the 1830 locked in, and it's at 7,200, so that's $9,000. So it's up to 9 as a whole. All right, so we're getting that pullback on NASDAQ. I probably got my stop too tight. I didn't want to lose back a lot because I've already locked in for the day. There are gold trades pushing further. I've got nothing to do but move my stop. So since gold is pushed past its low over here, previous low, the low to break, and we're getting that really starting to scream there, I am going to move the stop. So we're up 440, we were up about 444. So I'm going to move my stop down into this consolidated sideways movement. I just have to decide where I want it. So right now from where price is, and we're up 430, my stop is down more than halfway. So we're locking in. I've already locked in by moving my stop more than $200. Because it's over halfway down. I never sit there and manage it. That's the one reason I hate about these brokers and making you use the opposite order like that is you cannot see how much you're up where your stop is. So I can't tell you if that's like we're up 300. We're probably up around 300. I'm just judging by the way that it's over halfway down to where price is now. So we've probably locked in about 300 on there. So I just have to decide, do I want to use these lows in here? Do I want to use these two lows in here and keep my stop above that area, using that as my line of defense? Or do I want to just put all my faith in that low right there? So the struggle's real. Sometimes you could sit there and say, nope, I'm going to pull it tighter. pull it in here, and it'll pull back and almost stop you out. It hits that level and goes on. Other times it goes deeper and stops you out, but then only turns at one of these, like these levels. And if you had your stop here, you'd be okay. You have to make a decision, do it, stick with it. And like I said, what we always used to tell the kids, you get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Bitcoin, this is on this candle, and it looks like we might get a sell here as we're breaking that line I had from earlier. And that line I had from earlier, I left it on the chart, and you'll see it kind of bounced here. So we're kind of breaking that level. I don't think I'd go in with 5 at this point in the day. We're about 10 till 10. Again, we've already done good on the day, locked in what we've locked in. We still have, what, 8? How much do we got in open? Unrealized profit, 8 something. I don't look at that. We're looking at the moves, we're looking at the swings, we're moving our stops accordingly. Once we've closed partial, I'm not worried about my gold trade. I'm not worried about my platinum trade. I'm not really worried about the NASDAQ trade because I'm already up on the day. I'd like to close some profit at some point, but I need it to pop and run a little bit. I've already got 2 locked in here to close. I just have to hit the buy order. And it will happen sometimes. You'll come up and accidentally hit sell. Done it a million times. So right now we're in profitable trades on the 2 that we have. Yeah, I don't know if ES is looking like it wants to. We'll get ready to lock in for 3. And then Bitcoin, I'm still waiting. So Bitcoin, we had the last candle kind of waver on a sell. We didn't get it. So right now we have to wait for this candle to close, which we should start a new candle. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and sell 3 on Bitcoin. And I'm keeping a tight stop. I'm putting tight stops on these because I don't want to lose back a lot on what we already locked in. We did get the sell on ES as well. Not sure if I want to put an ES trade on. Who wants me to put an ES trade on? Reason why I just got into Bitcoin and I just got into NASDAQ. We'll go ahead and take a 3 sell. I'll tell you in a minute. Taking a 3 sell on ES, putting a tight stop on it. The reason why is NASDAQ is up 220. So I'm going to close out 2. So it was up around 220 and we got 60. So about 160 on NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, we got 196 and 160. So not bad, over 300, about 350 on NASDAQ for the day. Not moving my stop yet. So it's not enough to move my stop. I closed partial, but I need it to move before I can move my stop. So we need to change this to 1 so our orders match. Platinum, since it popped through the previous low here, that was our low to break. You know, this one in here, we have the inside bottom, we have the low to break. So since it's popped past the low to break and coming back up to test it, it hung out under it. I will move my stop down some. I'm going to keep it above this inside bottom area here in case it does come back to test that low over here, but pulls back a little deeper. So I'm setting good on platinum. We're setting good on gold. Waiting for another push on gold before we can move our stop down. Waiting another push on platinum before we can move our stop down. Waiting on another push on NASDAQ before we can move our stop to break even. You know, waiting on a further move on ES and Bitcoin just to even pull partial. So as of right now, if gold pulls back and stops us out, or platinum pulls back and stops us out, we're in profit on where our stops are. Okay, where NASDAQ, if it pulls and stops us out, we're going to lose back part of that 160 I just locked in. If Bitcoin and ES pull back, they're going to be negative trades right now where they sit. Now, Bitcoin, we locked in 151. So I have 151 locked in on the day on Bitcoin. So if it comes back and stops me out, we're either going to lose back part of that or all of that based on where our stop is. So all I'm looking to do now is just move stops except for Bitcoin and ES. ES is up 140. I told you I was going to close out a little earlier today. So we're up around 150, and we're getting that pop. We have that extension, that push. I'm going to take advantage of that. It's up 168, so I'm going to go ahead and close off. It's at 150. We'll buy 2, and we're at 50. So we closed off about 100, right around there on ES. Stop, the only thing I can do on stop is, one, I'll change it to, we're going to modify it to match. We don't want 31. Make sure your orders match in case you close out for the day. I can move it down some, but I really don't want to move this down a lot because I know it can pull back, and I just want to wait to see on that. Now, where are we at? NQ, we can move our stop down. I'm going to push it to break even on NQ. I'll push it here. I know it's going to cover up where we're at. I've even got it checked into TradingView where the orders aren't supposed to do that, hide each other. They're not supposed to overlap. It's checked off in my settings, but it doesn't work. So, we're up. We're up 245 on NASDAQ, 53 on ES. Platinum, we're up 250. And then gold, I don't know where we're at, 425 on that runner. So we're sitting with what? Unrealized profit down there in the lower right of the screen. We're sitting with 1,000 right now. So already locked in several trades, in the positive. I think oil's the only thing I haven't been in, correct? Yeah. So haven't been in oil. So already locked in several trades, already profited on the day, and then we're sitting with 1,000 in the hole. So not in the hole, sorry, that's a bad term. So we're not negative 1,000. We're sitting with 1,000 there in unrealized profit that we could close out. I could close out right now and be done for the day. Close them all. Now I'm looking for more than that. I'm looking for my runners to pan it. I'm going to get aggressive on the stop here on NQ and just know that at any point it's going to turn and stop me out. So I'm up 330 on NQ. Again, I'm only looking in this account for like 500 for the day. That's it. Okay. And I've got way more than that. I won't tell you what I'm up total. And I'm not going to try to add these on the fly. I still don't have that second platinum trade in. I have no idea. I won't go in and look now. I'll wait till the end of the day. All right. So I don't know if I want to add back into platinum, but that's where I would kind of start to consider that if I was going to take another trade in platinum right now. Because it has pulled back, testing that low over here. That's when I typically want to consider getting in with another trade. And I do know that this actually, platinum could go clean back up here to that downward line I've got, that down trade line. It could go all the way back up there. So we got in on a good signal, got in on a sell signal, and it played out. We're sitting in the positive. Got in on sell on ES. So again, this is what I was waiting for earlier. Because NASDAQ, I know we looked at the possibility of getting in when it gave the 1 hour signal. However, I wanted to wait for the 4 hour to line up. So here's the 1 hour, and the 1 hour, pushed and closed there. So you could have got in there. However, I have some uptrend lines there, and the 4 hour, if you look at the bottom of the screen, was still green. So just not interested in getting in that. Waited for it. It actually broke this, pulled back, gave a good bounce. That's what we entered on. So it's up, we're getting that pullback. So right now, if I put my stop about here, I'm locking in half of this, $340. So we're locking in about $160, $70 for where stop is right now. And then we're just going to wait for another push. Always be aware of your lows and highs. We're going to look for this low to break. If that low breaks, then I'm going to move my stop. If it extends, if it pushes past that low, that's the extension, then we'll actually move our stop. I've got a lot going on. I'm trying to watch it all. So I'm not setting alarms because we just got a lot going on. But typically you take that line of that low and set an alarm on it. And then you'll know when price breaches it, or set the alarm actually below it, and you'll know when it goes past. So it's starting to pop. I had some indicators come off. We're going to reapply to the reapply. This may happen to you where your indicators pop off your chart. It is a 10 o'clock hour. It happens on the 4 hour mark. It's happening to me. I don't know if it happens to you guys. I've got a different version on mine that I'm still making sure it's working. But everything's good so far. So again, just right click on a chart that has the indicator, hit apply to all. Okay, so we're really screaming on everything. So a few things. So Bitcoin. I haven't closed anything on Bitcoin yet. So it's up 150. I am gonna close out 2 on it. So we're up 160. So we'll close out. So we locked in about 100 there on Bitcoin, and we already have 100 from this morning. So we're up 250 on Bitcoin. I'll move my stop down some. I'm not going to move it to break even because that's too tight. So I'm willing to lose back some on Bitcoin to give it that little bit of room. And if you look at where my stop is right at that low. So what are the chances? I'm kind of asking to be taken out, right? If I kept my stop here, above this low, you feel a little safer in your trade. If I come down here, well, I'm kind of asking to be taken out. Okay, but I want to minimize my open risk. So ES, we're up 208. We closed out. Did I mark that one? Guys, 100. We locked in 100. So we're up 200. So I'm going to move my stop at least to break even. That means it is going to cover the order. Because if I set that to no overlap, I can click on another chart. It should stay unless I click on that. We're up 1,300 and God, guys, we're almost there. I am going to move my stop on gold down here as it's pulled back to test this high. We'll see if it bounces there, or test that low, sorry. Just need to geek out a little more profit here. So we're up somewhere around 2,200 on the day. If I close out what we have locked or sitting there, the unrealized. So way more than we wanted. Again, looking for 500 for the day. And even though I got into a couple of these last night, I consider as I'm locking stuff in and closing off partials, I'm locking that in. I'm managing the trade today, this morning. So that is part of today's trade because I got in them last night. So that 24-hour period. We're about ready to get stopped down on platinum. So 135, I'm going to watch it so I can tag the profit. And it's just playing around. So 125. So we'll get about 100, 110 on it. So a little bit of excitement there around the top of the hour. Yeah, 115 we're about to be taken out. It hit 115 here on platinum and we weren't taken out. So we're going to get about 100 to 115 if it stops us out. I'll just put 100 down there so I can go look at the actual trade, unless I'm watching it, because I may not be watching it when it gets taken out. I wanted to see what number I'd put if that gets stopped out. So I'll just put 100 down. It may be like 110 or something, 105. So I'll just write 100 down on platinum. I don't remember what the second trade on platinum was. The first one was $96, and I don't remember the second trade, what I closed out. We're looking at NASDAQ, broke that low. We'll see what it does here. It was more of a stop and go low where it just kind of stopped very briefly. So that stop and go. So I don't expect those to hold up as much. So if something moves like this and it just stops and it just only really one candle and then the second candle closed, it pushed. That's that stop and go. Those lows that you mark off as stop and go do not hold up as well as a low from it stopping and hanging out for a while and moving sideways. Okay, so you just have to know that. So we might get taken out of it. Where are we at? So we're up 404 and our stop's I'll move the stop to halfway. Right there is about halfway between where price is and where our order is, and we're up 405. So that should be around that 200 mark. So I've got 200 locked in on NASDAQ. Worst case scenario, if it stops us out. And we just closed out, if I marked it, I don't think I marked it, 160. So we locked in 160. Worst case, we're going to make another 200 on NASDAQ where our stop is. So that'd be 360 on that trade. Not bad for one trade. And I'm trading with micros, and I'm not doing a ton of contracts. I did 3 contracts. 3 contracts on that, 3 contracts on S&P, 3 contracts on Bitcoin, because it is already, 2 hours into my trade day, but we're already half hour into the U.S. stock market. Anybody want to peek at the 4 indices together, see what the Dow and Russell are doing? Okay, so we got stopped out on platinum. So that would have been another 100 on platinum. Again, I still don't know what that second trade was. So we had 96 on the first, I don't know on the second, and 100 on third. I want to say the other was around 100. I'll have to look later, but we're looking at almost 300 on platinum. So that's a good day on platinum. Do I need to trade platinum anymore? No, I don't. I could be done with it. Right now, we're just managing the trades. This is what I love. I love to be in a position where we're just managing the trades. I've already made good on the day, and we could shut down everything. I could close out and make another $800 in there. Now, I don't like closing my runners out. And if you look at gold, see how gold's pulling deeper? So I pulled my stop kind of in that. Remember I mentioned using this low back here on gold. But we also had these 2 bounces in here where, let me turn that back off. These 2 lows here that bounced at that level. So that was a stronger price level because it bounced there twice versus this one. So it pulled a little deeper. It's about stopped us out. So I told you guys I was pulling my stop kind of in that danger zone. On platinum, you could look to get in. It did break its pullback line if you drew a line on this pullback up. However, it could go deeper. So it could go up to that red line. So I'm not interested in getting back into platinum unless it pulls back a little deeper. And ultimately, I'd want to see a sell signal. Well, the only way we're going to get a sell signal is if the 15-minute candles turn green. And then, let me change that back. I want to turn platinum back because when I had to refresh the charts, I like the 3 on platinum. I know MC likes it that way as well. So ultimately, I'd be waiting on it to pull back deeper before I'd get in short. And in order to get a sell signal on it, the top line, the 15-minute down here, has to turn green for a while and then go back red. That would be the top one. That's the 15. If it goes green, it'll go green if it pulls deeper. And then when it turns back red, you will get a sell, and that's when I'd sell back in. Guys, I had a yellow shirt on the other day. And it doesn't show up on the screen. Not when I was doing a live. I was getting ready to do a recording. And so all I had down here in the lower left instead of me, all you saw was my head floating around. It was interesting. Just a floating head. I need to check on my Aussie trade. See if I can move my stop some. Did I pin that? Okay. Yeah, so I did post that link out to Discord. If you click on it, it'll go out, and that's where you can see the Aussie trade. All right, so about to get stopped out on our Bitcoin runner. And on this trade, I locked in 100, and we're down like 10. We were down about 15, not stopped out. So we're going to lose back about 20. So this trade will only be like an $80 trade. And then the first trade was 151. So it's still over 200 for the day on Bitcoin. Haven't done anything with oil. I don't know that I'm going to get back in it. I am. Do you guys, because I know some of you are watching oil, do you want me to leave out on a 1 minute time frame and watch it, or go to back to the 3? So we had that. I didn't really draw one, but that would be your retracement line down on oil, because we'd only be looked at taking long with the 1 hour and 4 hour. And you could have drew something more aggressive down on this move as it went. And we did break that. However, we haven't broken the other yet. It's trying to. Since it did swing up and back, you could consider moving the line. But on a 3 minute time frame, it hasn't actually broke through. That's that swing. On the 1 minute time frame, it looked like it broke through the line, and on 1 minute it did, and then come back through. But when you look back out on a 3, it hasn't quite broke that. You know, we had this candle close under it, and this candle closed down. The line's drawn off of these highs. So I'd wait for a break on that. And of course, if we get another push up, our candle may turn green, or we may get a buy signal, sorry. We're out of Bitcoin, so what did I say, negative 20 on our runner. So 231 on Bitcoin. I had my stop tight. Really a little too tight on these stops. I don't normally have them this tight. Normally I'm using the highs. But I had someone ask me the other day about using like super tight stops, and these are super tight. So here's what we don't want to see. So using the super tight, and I don't mind if you guys have something you want to see me do, I'll do it. Unless it's just absolutely a bad idea. But if not, I'll do it. And someone asked me about using do you ever use super tight stops? I said no. I always go one or two highs back. So like the oil trade, we had our stop way out of the way. But we know like on this trade, on ES, took the trade, it pulled down, and our stop was, I think, right above this level. But then I'm trailing the stop. I moved to break even as it pushed down. That's tight. That's super tight. You really, realistically, you'd want to leave your stop up here, okay, up above this area, up above that line. Leave your stop up there, and then when it swings back and then gives another push, and if it breaks this low, then that, as soon as it breaks that low and is pushing past, it's in the process of making a lower low. You can move your stop to the current high, whatever that may be, on this pullback. By closing partial and it's extended down, we're up a couple hundred, we move our stop. We close partials fine, but moving your stop to break even is aggressive. It's an aggressive move, and we're about to be taken out. We could be taken out. We got taken out on Bitcoin by doing it. So that's why I'm doing that today. I would normally leave my close partial and leave my stop where it is. So yes, you're going to give back some. That's why we're closing out. I'm doing 3 here on most of these and closing out 2. So far, we're still really good on the day. There's our buy. So we actually had a buy in oil. I haven't taken oil today. I don't know if I want to buy. I should have been paying a little more attention to it. It may only go to that last high. I don't know if I want to get involved. But overall, it's done good. Overall, it's still in bullish, still has bullish momentum here. We'll change the low to break line on NASDAQ to our inside bottom line now. That line was low to break, and that was on this push down. That was on the 1 minute where we had the stop and go. So it pushed down, marked that low when it pulled back up, and then it broke through. So that was marked low to break, and it broke it, and then it pulled back to test it. And then if you go out to that's the 3 minute chart, but now if we go out, or the 1 minute, if we go out to the 3, that line has actually become our inside bottom. And then the low to break would be back here. We need to see a break and push and move our stop if we're already in it, if you're still in it. Now on Bitcoin, we got a couple green candles, so we might get a sell. That last candle was green, so we may get a sell. And I told you I pulled my stop a little too tight. What I'll hate to see is if it just turns here, and goes down. It just stopped us out. So again, tight stop. Tight stop on gold. We about got stopped out. We're still in. So we're out of everything except gold right now. So the unrealized profit right now is just for gold. What it's up 414, and our stop is I don't know, guys. It's probably 3/4 of the way down from where price is now on gold. Where entry price is, we're up 419, and our stop is probably better than 3/4 down. So we're going to still lock in 300 if we get stopped down on gold. Okay. So the Aussie dollar is still pushed down. I'm moving my stop on it. I have a definite low in there, a high and a low from a swing down, and we're moving our stop. So on the Australian dollar trade, I was up and closed out 20 of the 30 lots, locking in 7K. Right now, the last 10 runners are up 54.80. So I could close the whole thing out, the rest of it out, and lock in another 5K. So there's 7K, 5K. So we're up over 12K on that one Australian dollar trade. So really good on the day. And guys, something else I typically do is I don't look back. So, like on the indices, looked at all 4 indices. I decided to stay with ES and NASDAQ and S&P for the day. I don't go in and check during the day. That's distracting. So don't go in and check. So, like on my MetaTrader account, on my Forex.com account, I'm only trading the Australian dollar this morning. So I'm not even in there looking at the Canadian dollar, euro, the pound, Swissy. I'm just not. I made my decision to trade the Australian dollar. Traded the Australian dollar. It doesn't matter if I'd be in the negative, same thing. If I'd be in the negative on the Australian dollar trade, I'm not going to peek in and go, and while I'm trading it, and go, well, I should have traded the Canadian dollar, should have traded the Swissy. I can look back tonight, but I don't do it while I'm trading. We'll see where our other trade is on platinum. So I'm down. I'm to 6,700 right now instead of. Remember, it was up about 7K or something like that, a little over 7K. So that's where platinum, that trade I've been in for almost 2 weeks, has just been fluctuating, back and forth. So we might get a sell if our 15-minute time frames turn back. So right now we have 15-minute time frame is green on Bitcoin, green on ES. So we might get a sell on those. If we get a red, if the 15-minute goes back red, yeah, the Australian dollar is what I'm in on my Forex.com account. That's on my phone. It's on my MetaTrader 4 account. Believe it or not, I'd have to close that account and open up a close it, withdraw the money, and wire the money back in order to switch that account to a TradingView account. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They just can't change my account over to a TradingView account. They won't do it. If you have a MetaTrader 4 account on your broker, you can't even change it to a MetaTrader 5 account. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like, you got my money. just change my account over. For some reason, I don't know why. They're like, nope, can't do it. So I would literally have to pull out my money. And I can't do that because then there's tax accounts. That's going to trigger a taxable event. And we certainly don't want that. Not on that account. So I'm stuck trading MetaTrader 4, which is fine. That's what I learned on. It's just not as, the charting is on TradingView is way better than MetaTrader 4 will ever be. A lot of brokers have switched to TradingView and gone away. So even my broker, Forex.com, they switch. Well, they have TradingView now still. So I'm glad they still let us use MetaTrader 4. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, really? I called them last year and checked, and guy's like, no, we can't do that. So what I did was wait 2 months later and called to get someone else to see. I have one guy I talk to over there normally. And when he told me that, I'm like, that can't be. So I called in, and I ended up getting whoever answered the phone. I can't remember. Normally, I just ask for him, and he's my account manager over there. But I didn't. I just asked the question. And the girl's like, no, we can't do that. I didn't ask why. I mean, it is what it is. Like, again, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. I'm not going to complain. Would I like to be able to trade TradingView, that account through TradingView? I would love it because I don't have to have a different platform open. I could have a different page. You guys can open up multiple windows on this platform, which I love. So I have another window open on my other screen. That's how you guys used to watch the screen. And I have another window over there open, and it is on a different account. And I have some trade. Well, that's the one the Platinum trades on. So my left monitor is logged into the account that the Platinum trades on, and that's a different account than what I'm trading in here today. Yeah, oil's moving night. Did you get back in? Cool. MC's in oil. I didn't take the buy. We had a buy. We had a push after. Could have taken the buy. MC, what else are you looking at other than oil right now? I know, MC, you've been on Platinum forever, and that's your go-to and your golden instrument. But I know you were starting to look at a few other things. I didn't know it was oil. You probably mentioned it, but it's hard to remember everything everybody mentions. So see how, and we did have a sell on Platinum, but I just said I was waiting on it to pull back to that line. And that was only briefly. We had a 1 minute, and I'm on a 1 minute time frame, but that printed a sell, just that one dot. So really waiting on it to pull back to this trend line, and at that point I'm going to come into the lows, and I do this right here. And I'd call that my retracement line up. And then we're looking to see if that bounces and breaks that. So if it pulls up in here and bounces off this down trade line, that red one, because that's what we've basically been trading that all day. We got him back here. I got him back here and took it short. And then didn't take the sell. I just thought it would, we had a lot of room in there for it to pull back. So it's not like I have a feeling or, it's nothing. There's nothing magical going. I think it's going to pull back further because it pulled up and swung down and turned right here. Where did it turn? Well, it turned at this previous high. Well, where'd that previous high turn? Well, it turned at this previous low. Okay? It pulled up, pulled back down, gave a sell signal, but are you going to take it right there? Because, again, it's right there at that previous low, previous high, or low, sorry. No, I'm going to wait. And then we got it to pull back and even make a higher high. So right now it's popping to that level, and I would look to possibly get in on that. But I would also want to draw this right here. And I would take and draw a line from there to there. So if that breaks through that, we could trade it short. I would look for it to break through this line and then pull back up to test right in here. That's kind of what I'm waiting on. Now, it might break through the red line. So we're not going to get mixed up. I'm not going to sell right now. Right now is not the time for me to sell. I need a little more confirmation that it's going to go short. I used to try to do that. It pulls back and touches my line. And if you're trading with moving averages, someone asked me about moving averages the other day. If you're trading with moving averages, it pulls back and touches your moving average line. Then a lot of people will just take that trade, you know, and short it here. They'd already be in. Me, I'm waiting on it to break that, come back and test that. So I'm waiting on a little more confirmation that that's what we're getting, you know, is an opportunity to short. So it's there. It's coming into play where we're going to have an opportunity to either short it or go long if it breaks the down trend line, the red line. But it's just not now, not for me. I don't want to get caught up in the decision making process of where it's going to go. Short would be my safer play on platinum because the 1 hour and 4 hour down here are red. So I really want to see a sell signal pop back up. It's in a good spot. When we had this sell signal, again, it wasn't in the best spot because, again, when we got this sell signal on platinum, it was right at that low, which is right at that high, which is right at this low. So this price line that I have marked at low to break is a really strong price area because we're getting things to bounce at it. So that being said, when that sell signal came up, look where it was. That candle closed right at that line, that price line. So that is not the time to get in. My further confirmation would have been for it to pull through, for it to pull through that low, that price line. So we didn't get that. Instead, it pulled back up deeper. So now we're getting that where it broke through this line and it's pulled back up. I'm really waiting on a sell signal. I've got 2 locked in there, just waiting and ready to short it. Candles, what do we got? We got 1 minute left, less than 1 minute on candles, and NASDAQ might give us an opportunity to sell. It's only 10:30, so I can still take a trade. I'm going to have to wait on a candle. And when you see the sell signals and buy signals come up, at that, you're always watching for swings, right? You can draw a line across and go, yep, it's breaking. A lot of times when the signals come up, it's after a retracement line or pullback line break. You look over here at gold, this signal here to short. If you were drawing a line up there, that's why I don't really particularly draw much anymore. But on that pull up, that move up, you draw that line, you typically will get the signal after that. Look at the move before that. Again, you're drawing the line, you're getting the after it. It's the same with all of them. You can come back to this one even. This one signaled short, so you'd have to start this line here. But basically, it's the same thing. Every time it's breaking, we're getting that. Sometimes it'll come early, so we did get a sell. I'm going to go ahead and sell, and then we'll get locked down to 2, ready to close. Do an aggressive stop. So I might get stopped out. If this, that was on 2 because I changed the order. So this is an aggressive stop because it's at the current high. I'm putting it just past the current high. Don't really want to risk back more than I am. What do we got? 196, 160 on the day. So we're about 154, 156. So we're about 156 positive on the day. Or sorry, 256. 3. I'm sorry. My math is off. We're 356, 196, 160, 356 positive on the day on NQ. I don't want to give that back. So I'm ready to close out 2. I changed it back to 3. So we're ready to close out 2, and I need to consider, am I going to close out 2 at the inside bottom, the inside of this turn, okay? Because if it comes down and turns there and then makes a shot up past this high, well, then it's formed bearish or bullish structure, and it might give a deeper pullback. So I'm really going to be small profit on this one. And I missed the, what we were waiting on Bitcoin, it to break that line, pull back and test it. It did. It pushed down through this line. Looking for it. I'm looking for it to break this low before I get in, because it may bounce here and go right back up to there. So I'm not really interested in it right now. Just kind of watching it. I don't know if this sell signal is going to come up on gold. I'm already in it. The only thing I could do is, if I wanted to, on a pullback like this on gold, I could add to my position if I wanted to take another trade on it. I'm already up, whatever we're up, 300 and something. So it's pulled back some. Here's something I'd want to do on gold. I would want to mark this line right here. And then I always come in and look at the highs as well. So right now we've kind of got this happening, okay, which is basically our triangle or pendant pattern, okay. For some reason, guys, I like a cleaner triangle than this. So what I'll do is take this leg, and first I gotta uncheck the magnet. So that's how you draw it. From a high to a low, extend the other side out. And then for some reason, I just like a cleaner looking triangle. I like that pendant flag. So I'm going to draw it like that. I'm just going to drag the line back, but keep this tail of this candle in it. And then always shove it to the back. I wish by default when you drew something, it would shove it to the back. So we're getting a sell signal. Just really looking for it to break here and push down to the low. We would mark the low to break. Not looking for the inside of the turn. You can mark it, the inside of this low right here. It's a turning point, and you can mark this candle here and notice that it came down and turned. It wicked down right there. If you pull it up to the next candle, because that's still inside of that move, that swing, I noticed that if I pull the line, the horizontal line up here, then that's where the bodies turn. So it may not even get down to that level. So just keep in mind that's our inside bottom. And then this would be our low to break on that. So I could get in with, if I wanted to take this, I could get in with more contracts. Just leave my stop where it is, all right? And I could go in and stack in contracts and get back and get into, and I could have done that anywhere along here, stacked into the position from last night. So I've got to think about that if I want to stack any on or not. What I don't want to do, if I stack in, and we're on a pullback on that. So we're in kind of heavy on NASDAQ as it's pulled back. That's why we did that tighter stop at the current high. Because I'm going to lose back that entire trade if it doesn't go of what we did this morning and give it back. But again, on gold, let's say I was to short it on the break of that triangle or the break of the low, anywhere in there. If I decided I wanted to stack in, what I do is I stack in with enough contracts to keep my order from moving down below where my stop is. I want the whole trade to be protected because right now I'm in profit, right? And you guys can play around with that. You know, you've already locked in good profit for the day. We don't know if gold's going to break and run down more or not. And it could come back to not work out. That's happened several times. I did that last night on I can't remember what I was trading, what I was in. But I got in on a trade. It moved. It kind of settled down for a minute. And it moved enough where I closed partial and moved my stock past break even. What I did was I went ahead and stacked on more trades. And when I stacked on more trades, of course, your order moves down. What I like to do is make sure that my order does not go. So sometimes if I've got my trade markers on, your execution markers, you'll see where it might say, you know, sell two, sell two, sell two, all stacked. That's because I'm adding two in. I'm selling two, seeing where my order moves. And judging off that, I'll sell two more, my order moved down. I'll sell two more, my order moved down. Now my orders moved there, you know. But if I went in and put sell six, then my order would move here. I would know that now by adding 2, 2, 2. However, if I went in and put sell six and my order went past my stop, well, now I've got a potential loss with 6 contracts on. Okay. Anybody want to see what that does? I don't know if everybody's trading through TradingView in here or not, but now with my Forex broker on the account I have, if I go in right now and short the Australian dollar, it's a separate trade. It's a total separate trade. And I know I posted images before. I don't know if it was the Australian dollar or what it was, but where I had 2 trades on because someone asked me about it. Yeah, we're lingering about 5K on that Aussie. It's just sitting there. Pulled back some kind of sideways. And we're at 69.50 on that platinum trade. I'm glad I got to hold it another week. It's just been up and down. I have a feeling. Do you ever have a feeling? Nah. Gold has just went totally flat. Just these few candles, but about the last 20 minutes after it went and made this last push, it's really flattened out here. There is CPI news tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the Japanese yen, the Tokyo market. So it's their CPI news. It's only an orange folder news event, but I'll be watching it, and I'll be watching the yen on that one. Afraid to shut these two things down. We had barely a push down on NASDAQ, so hopefully that won't come back and bite us. Or bite me. I keep inviting you guys in. Now I will, I don't know how long we'll run the stream. What time do I have to leave here? I gotta leave here around 12 today. I'm going to look at a car. So, just trying to wait on this guy to text me back. All right. Nothing major. And it's, we're almost to that 11 o'clock hour where you should, decide if some people trade all day long. I usually don't. I like to get in trades and get into a management situation like we're in. So taking the NASDAQ here was a little riskier just because it's getting toward that 11 o'clock hour. That 11 to 12 o'clock, I like to decide if I'm going to take anything or not. Platinum looks like it's, it actually closed past this low. So, and a sell signal. It's risky. It's always risky. Sometimes it's riskier than others. Getting in. So I'm already in my risky trade right now. My risky trade right now is NASDAQ. If I was not in NASDAQ, I might consider shorting. I'm debating whether I want to short platinum or not. Might be a long debate. And by the time I get done, it might be over. But again, I'm actually already in my risky trade, which is NASDAQ. Because I'm already down 300. That pulls back. We're going to lose back probably about 600, 7 on the day. So I really don't want to see that. The only thing I could do to minimize some of the risk would be to move my stop down, but I'm really putting it at that top. So, which is right here. And then something I like to do too is, which you guys have seen me do it like yesterday and whatnot, where I might get in with 5 trades early on and in the beginning of the day, or 5 trades, 5 contracts. So I'm putting on maybe 5 contracts on gold and 5 on Bitcoin and maybe still just 3 on NASDAQ and ES. And then later in the morning, if I take another entry on gold, if I traded with 5 earlier, I may be only putting on 3 or 2. It doesn't mean they won't go, but it's just later in the morning. So as lunch comes in the U.S. session, the New York session, The London traders are going home. So we're going to lose volume. Volume is going to slow down. Volume already has slowed down quite a bit because of that. We have the London traders going home for the day. And I'm not just talking about the retail traders, but I'm talking about, the hedge fund managers and their traders, the investment companies. They've got senior traders and traders on floor traders. And they're all going home for the day overseas. And then the U.S. session, they're going to lunch. So we see volume drop. So it's not the best trading between that, really after, between 11, and like 1, 2 o'clock, but 11 to 1 especially. And then you'll see some volume in the afternoon, but not a ton. So the only thing I can do right now to stack in to increase my profit would be to take gold. So I want to try and offset what's going on with NASDAQ. So I'm going to come into gold, and I'm going to add 2. And my order dropped right there. It's still safe. Okay? So I need to change my stop order to match. But my order's still safe. And that's what I was talking about. If I would have stacked on 3, if I would have added 3 in, because I had 1 on, to gold, that order, my price, my current entry price would be down here, below my stop. So I would potentially have been risking more money if I would have done that, if I would have stacked 3 contracts on. It would have moved down here below my stop, and now my positive trade on gold, I'd still lock some in, but could lose back some on it. I don't want to do that. So I did that to help offset NASDAQ if it goes and turns against me and I get stopped out. Okay? I want to be a little heavier on gold now because gold's been good. It's dropped. I don't know if it's going to continue, but where it was, I was able to stack in 2 more contracts. So now I have 3 on. In case, we got to sell. It's breaking out the pendant. It still has to get through the inside bottom because, it turned there here. Has to get through that. Has to get through the low before we can move our stop. So I'm doing this to offset NASDAQ right now. So there is a thought process there. I just didn't think I was stacking in. So I have a winning trade on gold. I'm stacking some more contracts on. So now I have 2 more contracts on gold. So if it does come through and break through this low down here, these 2 levels, and pushes, that will help me offset NASDAQ if it turns and pops us out. I'm already set to close 2 on NASDAQ, so we just got to wait. Guys, I don't know if it'll get past this stinking low right here. It might not. It's right there now. I hate closing out partial on a $100 trade. I really do. I really want more than this. But it's 11 o'clock. It's almost 11, so it's getting later in the day. So I have to decide if I want to I'm in a positive situation right now. Do I want to just close out partial, leave 1 at risk? I was hoping it would pop down to this inside bottom, and then that's where I was prepared to close out 2. It's just not popping yet. Just not. I'm not looking to take any more trades. ES gave us 2 sells here, but look, ES gave us a sell, pulled back, another sell. Is it going to pull back? So you have to look at the previous patterns, and look and see if those could hold up in the future. Same with NASDAQ. We're making the same moves. We got a sell on NASDAQ. Made a low, went sideways, pulled back some. Sell again. Is it going to pull back some and go sideways? Is it going to pull back and stop us out? I'd love for it to break and run. Love for all of them to, but it's the time of day. Look at the volume we have on things. I mean, look at the volume on gold. It's super low. So it's the time of day. You have to be aware of the time of day in your market. So yeah, I'll have to leave at 12 at the latest, because it's about an hour drive over to this place. All right, so I think I'm going to call it on NASDAQ. It might pop, guys. I have no idea, but it's back at that previous low. So I think I'm going to close too. I hate doing it when it's this low like this, but we're not even at 1-to-1 risk level where I put my stop. So I absolutely hate closing like this, but I'm fully aware of the time of day. It's almost 11. So we know volume's not here to kick it in the rear and pop it. Can I close to? And and I need to quit talking and just close those two. So I think I locked in, I don't know, maybe 70 on it. It was not a lot. I needed to close, when it would hit 200, that's when I was going to, because it's hit that bottom. It may not go past that. Still got a runner on oil. That's nice. Yep, that's what you got to do. Cool, MC. Sounds like a good trade. Set the alert, and then when it goes off, come back in and move your stop. So I can change my order on NQ to match, and then I can move the stop down some. I'm going to be kind of aggressive on the stop. I really don't want to lose back hardly anything on NASDAQ because it's having such a hard time getting even to that inside bottom. Just having a hard time. There's just no volume. Platinum did, after that sell, did continue down. So we got a good move on platinum. It did pull all the way back to that down trade line, down trend line, whatever you want to call it. I just called it a trade line because at the end of the day, that red line's coming off my chart. Did break through, this more aggressive line, broke through, tested it, and then shot down to that line. That's what we expect. I thought because it could have pulled back up to the red line and tested it again. It didn't. It popped through, and then what did it do? It turned at one of our lows, and then this candle here wicked all the way back up to test that line. Went sideways for a while and pushed, gave another sell. So overall, a good trade, and it's just been, kind of slow. Just slowly moving, which is fine. So close two on NASDAQ and move the stop down some. So I could take a potential loss on my runner on NASDAQ. So we got 196 on that NQ, 160, and then what was that? About 70 on that one. So we said we were around 354, something like that. 350 and 70, so about 400, 420, somewhere around there on NASDAQ. So good on the day. If it pops back, like right now, you could see where it's at. on NASDAQ. And if you could see down here where it says 159 off to the side, 175, that's where it's at right now. So we're at $87 and it says 175 off to the side. Showing you the number off to the side. And then pull it up here. So that's 275. So down here, you know, about, what is that? I'm trying to get it right in line. We're about 211 and we're up 110. So this is 275. So it's further than the 211. So, and we were up 110. So we're going to lose back. We have a potential loss of over 110. It'd be around 150. So to minimize some of that, we can get a little aggressive with the stop and move it down to like the halfway point. So right now we're up 115. If it goes back and stops us out, we can see that the distance between our order and where price is at 115, we're losing less than 115 back. So I'm just going to get real aggressive and move it kind of down like that. I just don't want to lose back even $100 on that. Bitcoin finally made it down to that previous low. So we'll see what it does here. You know, and when they extend like that, or Bitcoin, I'm sorry, platinum. When they extend like that, what do we expect? We expect a pullback. It just shouldn't surprise you if it pulls back. Finally made it on its journey. Just love how gold's turning on that inside bottom line. Just made it down here and stopped. So slow moving. Seeing a little more volume step in from where it was. If you hold your cursor over volume, it was up there a little bit, but just low. If you look at these candles, it's low volume compared to back here. So around that 1030 mark, you know, volume's just really dropped on gold. You know, you look back here at these other candles, you know, you're up over 1.32K if you're looking at the volume on top of charts. You know, so volume's really up there. And then when you get over to where we're at now and tick over, you're just looking at volume read, you know, 805, you know, 518, 337, you know, even now 320. So its volumes has dropped, and it dropped off about 10:30. Well, that's about an hour into the stock market. Now, NASDAQ and ES are always going to have more volume now than like gold and some of the other instruments, because it's their time to shine. The U.S. stock market opens at 9:30, and we're an hour in, hour and a half. And it's their time to shine. So you're going to have more volume on those two instruments. But even that's dropped down on them. It's dropped some. Not looking to, I'd like to see NASDAQ, see how it almost came up, stop us out here, but we're not going to lose back a lot. I'd like to see it pop past that, you know, inside bottom back down in here. Of course, if it breaks the inside bottom, I can move my stop down to at least break even and then just be done with it and see what I get at the end of the day. That's what my plan is on that. I'm not looking to even trail my stop the rest of the day. If NASDAQ can get past this inside bottom line, if it can push past and close past, I'm going to move my stop to break even. And then I'm just done with looking at it for the day. And then I'll check back this afternoon and see what it is, around power hour. See where it's at. So the platinum trade is up $7,530 as it's continued to creep down, creeping into profits. So I like that. I'll see where it is tomorrow at 9:06. So we'll be back in here live. And 9:06, I hit that 2-week mark on platinum. So, like I said, right now it's up around 7,500. So we'll see where it is tomorrow at 9. I'm not looking to close it. I'm just managing my stop. And I've held back through some pretty decent pullbacks. Yeah, I gotta click this button. I can't see with the webcam. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to shut the stream down for the day. We had a good run and still in profit on these. So I'm glad that NASDAQ didn't wreck my day on trading NASDAQ. So because there for a minute, I was looking at losing back everything I made on NASDAQ this morning. And then and then a little bit more. So I'd have been negative on NASDAQ. Probably about 150, maybe 200 on NASDAQ if it would have not even moved how it moved. So I'm glad I closed out what I did, and because it's just not even interested in moving. That doesn't mean it won't pop and go. So that was a riskier trade because it was later in the morning, and took the risk, and it's okay. It played out. It's not always going to do that. So it could have been a loss against NASDAQ. And I'm okay with that. So even if I would have lost on that NASDAQ trade, it would have closed back. I'd have been negative, say, 200 on NASDAQ because that's right around what it would have been. So I would have been negative on NASDAQ. Is it a big deal? It's really not. If I only traded NASDAQ today, and that was the only trade I took, and it went in the negative 200, then it's a big deal. Okay? Because you're negative on the day. But even if placing that trade and it would have went negative and hit the stop, closing out, a negative 200 on it, that's okay because Bitcoin, we had a $151 trade, a $100 trade, and a negative 20 on a runner. Okay, so positive on Bitcoin. Platinum, 196 on one trade. I can't remember the other contract closed at, and then $100 on that last one that I took profit, and then the runner closed on it. So positive on platinum. ES, I did the one trade and locked in 100, and I don't even remember what we got on the runner on it. I got to go back and look. So positive on platinum, Bitcoin, ES, and of course on gold, positive because I was already in it. And then I've also stacked in, hoping that if gold pushes further, I'm going to make even more money. If gold pushes down and breaks this low and keeps going, I would have only had one contract on. By stacking in two more, I now have three on for that move if that's what plays out. Okay? So I went in on that, of course, to offset if I took the loss on NASDAQ. However, since we're not really going to take much of a loss on NASDAQ if it stops us out, we're going to lose back a little bit. But we gained on this NASDAQ trade. So overall, NASDAQ, we're still positive, and we're not looking to lose any back. So a little bit. So overall now, we're sitting positive on every single instrument we traded. And so good on the day. And so we'll catch you back tomorrow. We'll see where these go. I'll post them out later if they move, if we get it. I'm fully prepared, of course, to get stopped out on NASDAQ on the runner. Don't really care. And but again, that's why I trade multiple instruments. It's hard to watch 6 and trade. So you can always go down to 1 or 2. I always recommend somebody starting with 1, but get to 2 instruments as soon as you can, because the one instrument you decide to trade, like gold, last December, we took a couple trade days in there where we only traded gold. We're just going to trade gold today, and that's it. And gold was choppy, where other things like oil trended for the day. Okay? So you kind of corner yourself in. You kind of put yourself in a corner in a box when you're looking at one instrument, because, and that's great. That's what you want to do. You want to learn the instrument, and you want to get used to trading one instrument before you go to 2. But if you only look at 1 and it is choppy for the day, you'll get slaughtered. You can get slaughtered. Okay? So that's why I trade multiple instruments. If something trends and runs, I stay in it. That's why I'm still in the gold trade from last night. And that's why I was still in NASDAQ and Bitcoin from last night, because I was able to stay in them. That's why I'm still in the platinum trade from February 14th. 2 weeks on it. And it's up 72.70 right now. So I won't look at it again today. I don't really care. I care about where's it at tomorrow, my 2-week mark. Where's platinum then? Where am I sitting? Am I still going to be up, 7,300? Am I only going to be up 5,000? Or am I going to be up 10,000? I don't know. We'll see tomorrow at 9. So I'll go over that. We'll look at it tomorrow in here. So I hope everybody had fun. I know I did. I always do. And lock in profits, and I will talk to you later, guys.